So last night I had a bunch of random dreams, but I can't remember too much. Like they weren't long, they felt like they were very short dreams. So I'm just gonna get right into it, but these ones are gonna be all over the place. So the first dream I remember having, very weird. I'm an actor and I'm inside of a room and there's this woman there, like a B-list actress. I can't remember who it is, but in the dream I do remember. Like I mean in the dream I can tell who it is, but now that like I'm thinking about it, I can't remember who it was, but it was some woman like a B-list actress, and I'm in the corner of the room with her, and there's like other people there, and we're talking or socializing, and she's 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 in the corner, and I'm right next to her, like her back is to me, and I think we're just talking or something, and she's kind of being flirtatious, and she's kind of grinding on me. At one point, she's like kind of grinding on me seductively or something, and we're just talking about work though, like we're actors, and so for whatever reason, I move away from her. Like I just kind of like she's grinding on me, but we're all dressed and whatever. And I make some comment like a joke or something, and I walk away. And as I walk away, suddenly Jack Nicholson stands up right in front of her. And right then, I realized the entire like from my angle or whatever, I couldn't even see him. Like it makes no sense. It was weird. Like it's a weird position. But anyways, even though we were all next to each other, but I couldn't see him. So basically, I walk away towards the middle of the room, and she's like laughing or something. And Jack Nicholson stands up because he was squatting down, and he's got a big grin on his face, and he's like really smile, like he's happy and smiling. And that's when I realized the entire time that I was talking to this actress, and she was grinding on me. Jack Nicholson was going down on her, which was so weird and so strange. And they're fully clothed though. That's the weird thing. Everyone's dressed, but she was but that's what he was doing. Like I just know in the dream right away that somehow he was he was going down on her for a while we were having this conversation. And so, anyways, though, like he suddenly kind of disappears, and now it's just me and her, and we're in this room, and there's like it's like a dressing room now or something because there's tons of clothes and there's mirrors and these random stuff props. It looks like props and stuff, and suddenly I realize it's the 1970s, and it's like I'm talking to her like I'm talking about the past, but we're also in the past at the same time. And what she's talking to me about is a bonus. So I realized that we've just finished filming a movie. I don't even know what the movie is. And she's telling me that because we're the actors, we're going to get a bonus for making this movie. So, like, I guess, like, the bosses, the directors, or the studio, or somebody is going to give us a bonus. And then I realize I think I confirmed with her. I'm like, oh, okay. So since we're getting our bonus, and then we as the actors have to give the production team a bonus, and she's like agreeing, like it's obvious. She's like, well, yeah, obviously. And I'm like, well, how much did we get as a bonus for as actors, and then how much are we supposed to give? And suddenly there's like a few other actors there, and we're just kind of like we're all in the same movie. And I wish I could remember who the female actress is, but I can't. At one point, I think I see Adrian Brody. I think Adrian Brody is there. I'm there. And this woman, I think she's a redhead, like a redheaded actress, somebody who was more famous. And none of them are from the 70s. We're not actors from the 70s, I guess, except Jack Nicholson. But the rest of them are like actors who were famous in the 90s and the 2000s, I think. And so, yeah, I don't even know. Like, I think there's like a whiteboard, like a erase board, whatever you call them. And I start writing numbers, like numbers for the for the bonuses that we have to give, and I keep asking around like the different actors. I'm like, and they're all thinking, and they're like trying to tell me the bonus. They're trying to. It's in the thousands, and I'm trying to figure out like what the bonus amount was, and nobody knows for sure. And I'm like, well, we have to figure out how much of a bonus we're supposed to, how much of a bonus we're supposed to give the production crew. And that's all I remember from that part of the dream. Like that whole sequence is all I remember. And then later on, though, I don't know if it was related to that, but it's like I think it was a different dream. It was like another small, short dream, but I'm in like a apartment building, and it's like a sitcom now. It's weird. It's like another acting dream. I don't think it was the same dream though. I mean, it could have been, but I'm in this room, and it's me and another guy plus two girls, and it's like a sitcom. It's like I'm watching a sitcom, but I'm also in the sitcom. And the weird thing is, it's like a combination of Seinfeld and Friends. It starts off as Seinfeld first, like it's an episode of Seinfeld, and Seinfeld is there. He's the one who, like, there's two couches and we're just sitting, and Seinfeld is there. Elaine is there from the show. So it's Seinfeld, Elaine, me, and another girl. And this other girl is not one of the regular cast members. She's like one of those recurring cast members or something, or like a guest appearance type thing. And they're talking about the apartments. So it's Seinfeld's apartment, and this girl had moved out for whatever reason, but now she wanted to move back in to the apartments. Like she had lost her apartment or moved out, and now she wants to move in because there's some sort of vacancy. But she's explaining it to me as if it's my choice. Like I have something to do with it. Like I have a say. And then this is the weird part where the dream kind of shifts. So it started off as Seinfeld, but now it's suddenly Friends, and now it's not Seinfeld and it's not Jerry Seinfeld anymore. It's Ross Geller. David Schwimmer, the actor, he's there. He's playing Ross Geller, and the girls change too, kind of, but not really. And it's hard to tell. But one of them is like with Ross's character, with David Schwimmer's character, and they're making out, or they're like they had just finished making out or something. And it's almost like they're trying to bribe me, or not bribe me, but kind of like like they're trying to get me to give up the apartment or give her the apartment. Like it's the same weird little story situation. So the actors have changed, the people have changed, but the scenario is still the same. And so I'm suddenly like on the couch, and this one girl, she's very attractive, and I can't remember. She's like one of the recurring guests on Seinfeld, but now it's a Friends. It's weird. It's just like the two shows are combined. And for whatever reason, I'm suddenly like laying down, and she's wearing lingerie, and she's wearing like no underwear. So she has like some sort of like see through lingerie or something, and she's like trying to basically seduce me to give up the apartment or to let her move back into this building or whatever. So it made no sense. But anyways, and Ross is still there, and the other girl is there, who might be Elaine at this point. So Ross and Elaine are just watching, and they're kind of like talking and laughing as well. And this other girl, the one with the lingerie who's trying to seduce me, ends up somehow straddling me, and then she ends up sitting on my face. And I think I'm going down on her. And the whole time she's just talking about the apartment, like trying to get into the apartment. All I remember is like I'm going down on her the entire time. And it's a room with two couches and a stair. Okay, I remember the staircase too that goes upstairs, but this is all like inside of an apartment. It's like Jerry's apartment, but it looks completely different. And then again, Jerry shifted to Ross. So it's Jerry, then Ross, Elaine, and then this other actress who ends up sitting on my face. And that's that's all I remember from that part of the dream. That was literally it. And then I had other random. I had another dream where I'm in. It's like a big city, but I don't know where. It's either in the US or Europe. And it's like I'm watching this, like this whole thing was like watching a movie. And this one was very weird too. It's like a big political, okay, so I'm in a car driving by a sidewalk. It's like, I think there's a protest going on. So there's all these young girls. They look like teenagers, I think, and they're protesting. And they have signs or something like that. And there's also firefighters and EMS there. I think it's EMS. They're like paramedic. I think it's paramedics. So this girl, she's like a famous protesting, or like in the dream, I realized that she's important or famous person, but she's young. She's like a teenager, late teens, maybe early 20s, and she's wearing like clothes that look like not clothes. She's got like a backpack and what do you call it when you're backpacking? It's like she's been like in the dream. I just realized she's gone to this country to protest, and I don't know if it's like a war or something she's protesting, but she's protesting something significant. And so she's on the sidewalk, and there's like a fence. It looks like a metal fence. Maybe she's protesting like the people on the other side of the fence or something, where she's protesting. It feels like it's like a big important building, like some UN building or some embassy or something. And so it doesn't make sense though, but right next to that is like a paramedic, like an ambulance paramedic building, like their station, like where they would work out of, and they would like get dispatched out of. And so this girl, she's protesting, and then suddenly one of these paramedics, it's like a group of them, but they're wearing like a riot gear, so it makes no sense. But I know they're EMS, but they're also wearing a riot gear as if they're like police or army or something. And so one of them comes up to this girl and pepper sprays her right in the face, like badly. And she's like freaking out. And like now suddenly there's more people and there's protesters with her. And they're all like, oh my God, how could you do this? And they're yelling at the paramedics. And they're like, you pieces of shit. What the hell's wrong with you, you assholes? You're a paramedic. How can you pepper spray someone? We're peaceful protesters. And so this girl falls to the ground and she's like, I think somebody brings a water bottle and starts washing her eyes or like rinsing her eyes. And now there's more protesters standing around. And then suddenly the EMS people come and they start pepper spraying her even more. And she gets attacked like a second time. And now it's like, it's weird. It's all one little dream sequence, but it's like the time has shifted forward. And suddenly there's like important people there. There's like politicians and actors and CEOs, and they're doing a peaceful protest, but what they're doing as the protest is laying down on the ground. And it kind of reminds me of like way back in real life when they did the football thing where those like athletes were taking a knee as a protest instead of standing for a national anthem. It was something kind of similar to that, but this wasn't even in the US. I think it was Europe. It was like, because things looked different, like everything looked different, the people looked different, like it wasn't like American style, like, like even like the uniforms they're wearing, the way they're talking, like with accents or something. So I think it was like France. I'm like, it's like France or Germany or one of those like big European countries. And so yeah, so it's kind of like been fast forward, and this girl with fellow protesters are laying on the ground, and then these other people show up, and I can't recognize any of them, but they are important CEOs. They're like famous people who are there to support her, and one of them is like a very high politician, like a high ranking politician from another country or something like that, and he also gets pepper sprayed. So, like he also gets pepper sprayed. So now the media is there, and I see like cameramen and like there's a female reporter. She's like screaming to him like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this!" Like basically they're trying to report it live. And now that this famous person, like this politician or whatever, has been pepper sprayed, now it's become like an even bigger deal. So now there's all these like news people there and they're reporting and all that. And I'm like watching this whole thing from a distance. It's like I'm watching a movie, but I'm also like there. I think I'm actually there. No, in the dream I am there. But I'm like in a. It feels like I'm in a car watching it at a distance. And so then again, yeah, the whole dream, like the entire time, the paramedics have been there, but they kind of come and go. But it's like they're evil EMS or like they're evil paramedics because they're the ones pepper spraying. So it made no sense. But they're also like soldiers. So the whole thing was very confusing. But the last thing I remember from this dream sequence though was the girl and these other politician stuff are laying on the are laying on the ground. It's still a protesting, and then I notice there's like people coming and kind of joining them, but they have to kind of decide. Like these celebrities or these politicians have to decide whether they're for the protest or not, whether they support this protest. And so some are joining. Like the ones that are joining, all end up they all end up laying down with her. So if they're laying down on the street, on the sidewalk or whatever, that means that they support it. Like that's just a symbol. Like they're supporting the protest. But if the yeah, okay, I don't remember too much detail after that, but they're just laying down. The ones that are supporting him are laying down, and then one person I remember is that CEO of I forget his name. Is it Bronson something Bronson, the CEO of Virgin Airlines and that company, and he's got a bunch of whatever. But this, what is it, European, Swedish, whatever. I don't even know where he's from, but that Bronson guy, he's there looking at them from a distance, and I can see his face clearly though. He's kind of shocked that it's like he debates it for a second whether he should join and support this protest, but he kind of like shakes his head and he's like, "Oh hell no, I'm not gonna do this," and he kind of makes this weird face and he turns around and he walks away. So that's the only celebrity or like person, well, not even celebrity, that's the only rich person that I remember clearly seeing who it actually was. There were other rich people there, like actors and like politicians, but he was the only one I remember distinctly seeing his face. And I don't even know how his name is. What is it? Was it Bronson something? I don't know. Whatever. But you know who I'm talking about. The CEO of Virgin, the company. That's him. And that was it. That was the dream. That was the whole dream sequence. And that dream then ended. And then I did have other dreams. At one point, I'm on a highway. I'm driving around on a highway, and it's like late, and it's dark and foggy. It's not like scary or something, but I'm just driving in a big black SUV. It looks like I think it's like a Toyota or something, like a big one, like a really big SUV, maybe like an Escalade type, like sized SUV. And this was like, I only remember a short part of the stream, but it makes no sense. But I'm driving somewhere and I'm completely lost though. So I'm driving on the highway and I noticed there's a lot of street lights that are burnt out and it's late at night and my headlights barely work, or like my headlights come and go, and I'm driving basically like driving blind in a way. But the entire time I'm also on the phone with somebody and I can't remember, this person's like either my partner, it's like a girlfriend or a wife. I'm on the phone with them and I'm trying to explain to them what's happening and how I can't drive properly, and then they're giving me directions or something, even though I can't see anything. And at one point, I think like there's other cars around me, and I'm almost crashing into them. I'm bumping into them, and then there's no major accidents. So it's like just me driving, and like I'm completely blind. And but so the weird thing is like this. I mean, it doesn't feel that long. It's like the whole thing takes a few seconds. But in the dream, I've realized that like in the dream, it feels like I've been driving for hours, and I'm completely lost. And again, this person is giving me like directions on what to do, where to go, how to turn, and whatever. And so after like hours of driving in this short little dream I had, it's like I get to this open area and it's brighter and it's like light out. And whoever I'm talking to on the phone just tells me, "Oh, you're back where you started from." And then I look around, I realize that I managed to get back to where I started. And there's like the highway. It's like some highway, but I'm back on that same highway. So I've been driving for hours, making lefts and rights and turning, but in the very end, I just end up back where I started from, which is kind of what I wanted or something. And then I hang up the phone with that person that I was talking to, or that whole part of the dream just ends, and I'm just in the car driving, and it makes no sense. But I'm on like a bridge next to a city with tons of skyscrapers, and there's buildings that like I realize I can drive on top of the cars. I mean, I can cars can drive on top of these buildings. It's like it looks very weird. It doesn't make sense. Like a huge metropolitan area, like a New York. It's like it looks like New York City, but the highway's like in the air, and I'm like driving next to these buildings. And at one point, I realize that I have like one of those. It's so weird. Like in real life, you have those. What do you call it when you have those weirdly dark, weird thoughts? Intrusive thoughts. Yeah. So in real life, I've had intrusive thoughts, but in the dream, I even have an intrusive thought in the dream where I'm driving. I'm driving. So I'm driving on this highway. It's kind of like open area, and it turns into more like a mountainy dirt road or something. And I realize, like in the dream, I have an intrusive thought where I'm like, I could turn this car and like turn and speed up and just drive it off this bridge and just like right into the buildings and just like kill myself and like crash the car. And I wonder if, and in the dream, I remember having this intrusive thought and wondering how fast I would die if there was any chance of me surviving this crash. Like, is it instant death, instant suicide, or would I somehow magically survive or something? And as I'm having this thought, so I'm having this intrusive thought in the dream, and then suddenly that highway ends up turning into the tops of these buildings, anyways. So now I'm suddenly driving on top of these buildings, and it looks so unrealistic because the buildings are tiny and the car's big. It's like a big SUV that I'm driving, and so I'm on top of one building, and I have to drive it from one building to the next building. Now these buildings are kind of going lower to the ground, like different size buildings, so they're like skyscrapers, but I'm on the very top, like there's a tall one, and I'm like, okay, I have to speed up and drive and jump. I have to basically jump the car from one building to the next, and so I do that like 2 or 3 times, and then the last one, like it's a big drop, and I drive it off the one building onto the next. Like it's like I'm doing parkour, like the way people do parkour from building to building. I'm doing it inside the car somehow. So the last building I remember, it's a huge drop, and I basically drive off this building, and I'm like I'm gonna die, like I'm gonna crash, and like that's how the dream ends with me falling in the car like from one building to the next. And that's all I remember from that dream sequence. That was it there. And then I had a lot of these weird short dreams. Another dream I had was I'm in a restaurant. I think I was in a restaurant. I'm meeting my wife and kids. And it's like a fast food restaurant. It's kind of like it's either a McDonald's or a Burger King, something like that. But I think it was, no, I think it was in the main, something in, there's something more unique, somewhere we don't usually go. It was like I think it was like a Sonic fast food place, or maybe a Chick-fil-A type of thing, because it wasn't like one of the main ones. It wasn't like a Wendy's or a McDonald's or a Burger King. It was something like something different. Anyways, I can't remember the restaurant, but I'm in there. It's like I'm trying to find them, and I have kids. So I think it's like a wife and kids, and they're in there waiting for me. And we're going through the back door. Like there's like a front main entrance and a back door entrance, and I go through the back door, and I'm trying to find them, and they're waiting for me, and we have to go somewhere. Actually, I think that's all I remember. I'm losing the dreams already. I'm starting to forget. But yeah, That's all I remember from that dream. It was just like a weird fast food place, and I'm meeting up with my wife and kids or something like that, and that's it. That's all I remember from that dream. And another part, I did have I had a weird sex dream as well, like another separate from the other ones that I had. And this one was very short, but it was weird. It was like, I think there was family members involved or something. I can't remember. It was so weird. It was like, I think I was in a room with people, and I think I was like, I think I was jerking off. I was standing jerking off, and people were watching me. But this one is so hazy. I don't remember. Like, I knew the people, and I think it was actually like family or like relatives, but I don't know what the dream was, like what I was doing or what was happening. And I remember like I was just pleasuring myself, and I even ended up finish. I think I ended up finishing in front of them. Like they were like, I can't remember, man. It was like they were shocked and like just like it was for me. It was like it was almost as if it was normal. I think it was I was acting normal, but they were all just watching me as if like as if watching me was normal too. But I don't know what they were like making comments. I don't know who they were. But anyways, that was like a super short dream sequence that I remember, and that's all I remember from that dream. I just know that I was doing something like that. And then I just remembered another dream I had. I was at work. Yeah, it's another work dream where I'm at work and it's late at night, and the whole workplace looks different. Like just like some building, and I'm at some building, and there's like I think there's a shipping office. There's a shipping office in the back, and we're standing around. It's near the end of the shift, but there's way too many people, like way more than would actually be at my job. There's like, I don't know, maybe like triple, quadruple the amount of people. And we have customers coming to this shipping office. They're like random people. And anyways, at one point though, this group of Asians come. They're like, I guess like what do you call them? Fresh off the boat Asians or something. And some I think my boss or manager is there, and they're trying to talk to them. They're at this big like shipping window. It's weird. It's like an office, but it's like a what do you call it? Like it's like a desk, or it's just they're outside and we're inside, but there's like this big like door, like you can kind of talk through. It's almost like a screen or a door or something, like a shipping office. I don't even know what the hell you call it. And they're talking Asian. They're talking a different language, and we don't know what language it is. And I think it's Chinese. So they're talking Chinese to my manager who doesn't speak Chinese, and my manager thinks they're there to buy something or something like that. So it's just so weird. The whole thing is so confusing. And I'm just standing off to the side working. I'm doing something. I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't know what my job is, but I'm there and I'm moving stuff around or doing something with like product or items. And so the manager is frustrated trying to understand. It's three Asian men too, like one older one and two younger ones. And I think they are Chinese, but it's weird because they're tatted up too. They have tattoos all over. And I realize they're mafia. They're Chinese mafia at our workplace talking to my manager. And so the manager is trying to speak English with them. He doesn't understand them. And then suddenly one of the coworkers, I don't know who, somebody comes, and the coworker is a Filipino man though. So I know 100%. So in the dream, one of my coworkers is a Filipino, but these people are Chinese. But somehow, even though you wouldn't be able to in real life, somehow, for whatever reason, Chinese people and Filipinos can understand each other in my dream suddenly. Like at that point, I realized my coworker, who's a Filipino, is talking to them in Filipino, in what do you call it? Tagalog. I don't even remember what the hell it's called. Oh my god, it's too early in the morning for this shit. So he's talking Filipino to them, and they're talking Chinese. And I realize it's not what they're called. I guess it would be Mandarin. So they're talking Mandarin, and the Filipino man is talking Tagalog, well, however you pronounce it, and they're understanding each other perfectly. And so these Chinese mafia guys are there to advertise. This is what I realized in the dream. I realized that they're not there to buy or sell. They were there as like advertising something. So there's some company. But the Chinese mafia basically has shown up to negotiate and try to advertise something that they're doing, like a service or a product that they're selling. It was weird. I don't go. And the manager's trying to like communicate. So there's like translation with this other guy. And anyways, the whole thing is weird. And then suddenly the older guy starts talking. The Chinese older mafia guy starts talking English. So then suddenly my manager gets pissed off. He's like, what the hell? You could speak English this whole time. Why weren't you just speaking English with me? Trying to like, and he has like this big flyer, like the Chinese guy, the old Chinese mafia guy is holding a big flyer. And he basically hands it to the boss, and then now they're kind of like laughing and joking around, like it was just the whole thing was like a weird misunderstanding or miscommunication, and they're laughing now, and I'm just like watching this whole weird little scenario that was happening, and one of my other coworkers suddenly is there, and he makes some comment about like what an easy job it is if you work in the shipping office, I think, because he's like, look, you just have to sit here at this desk behind this glass screen and you just talk to the drivers, like there's truck drivers and customers that show up, and you're dealing with carriers, something like you're dealing with carriers or customers, and basically he's kind of making a smart ass comment like, oh look, if you worked in the office, look how easy the job would be, but I guess we don't work in the office, we work somewhere else, like outside or something. It's like I think we're like contractors at one point, or we work outside for the city. So this whole dream sequence with the stupid translation thing and like the Chinese guys are like that whole thing kind of ends and the dream kind of shifts. Now we're outside, me and coworkers, and we're wearing, it's raining and we're wearing like working whatever the clothes are. We're wearing safety vests. We're wearing like these big like construction clothes. We're basically wearing construction clothes with, it feels heavy. Like I know I'm wearing stuff and it feels heavy. I'm wearing like first I put this weird plastic poncho thing on, I guess, to protect me from the rain. But I'm wearing like construction clothes, thick like boots and pants, like almost feels like a firefighter's outfit, but it's construction and it's outdoors and it's not even like cold, but we're wearing very thick, warm clothes, and we're walking around the street. It's almost like at one point it's like we're cleaning though, so it makes no sense. It's like we're construction workers, but we're doing like a cleanup, like cleaning up garbage literally from the streets, like a community service thing or something, just to be nice for the city. And I remember at one point we're just kind of walking back and forth up and down these streets, and we're picking up garbage. And suddenly the dream shifts now, where I'm walking. I'm part, like it's still I'm working. It's part of my shift or whatever at work, but my clothes have kind of changed. And there's this homeless man now there, and the homeless man, I think it's the dream. I think it's the same dream sequence, but I can't tell for sure. But there's just like this skinny homeless guy, and he's all dirty and like looks raggedy and whatever, and he's homeless and he's pushing a cart or like a shopping cart, and he's asking for money. And I realized he had already asked me money earlier in the dream. I realized he's already begged for money from me, and I didn't give him anything, and I didn't want to give him anything. And I just make a comment, I'm like, just leave me alone or whatever, and I walk away. But at some, like I think he has a knife on him now, like a pocket knife, but he doesn't use it. But he kind of comes up towards me and he kind of like hits me with it. Like it makes no sense. It's a knife, but it's like he hits me with the handle part of it. Like he doesn't slash at me or cut me, but he just kind of like, it's like a threat, almost like he's threatening to cut me or something. But it's very quick. Like the whole thing kind of happens quickly. It's just like he walks past me, bumps into me, hits me with the knife, and I get so pissed off. Something I'm like, what the hell? Like you're begging me to give you money. Like you're asking me to give you money, but you're also like slashing at me with a knife. And it's almost like he's embarrassed at this point or something, and he knows he's screwed up, and he speed walks away, like he walks faster away from me, trying to ignore me. And I kind of yell at him like a little bit from a distance, like, how could you do that, man? What the hell's wrong with you? Like as if we're friends almost or something, but it made no sense. But I'm pissed off, and I'm like ignoring him though, and I don't want him to come back because I know he has the knife. And I think he just takes off, and I'm on a sidewalk now. There's like a bunch of stores, and a few more people are out on the streets, and a couple of them watch like that guy. They see him walk off to the distance, and some ladies there, like some middle-aged lady, and I think she makes a comment about him. I can't remember too clearly, but I think like there's been issues with that homeless guy before, and I don't know if she's like a bystander or like the owner of the stores or one of like the buildings there, and she just makes this comment about that homeless guy, like, oh yeah, we've had issues with him before. Like we're like kind of saying like, oh man, it's not that guy again, is he? Or it's not that guy again, is it? And then that whole little sequence shifts again. It's so weird. Like these dreams were all over the place, and then suddenly, I'm one of the stores that I'm standing in front of is like a cigar store. They sell cigars, and these two people are kind of negotiating, and they're joking, and they're trying to buy cigar. They're buying cigars from each other, and they're also exchanging cigars, like giving, like, oh, I'll give you two cigars of this kind, and you give me like three of those cigars, because they're like different values and different prices. And so they're just standing there, and one of them does like this really funny thing. I can't remember what it was, but he tricks the other guy. But they're all friends, like they know each other. But he tricks the other guy into giving him like a free pack or like a free box of cigars by just saying something, or like I can't remember. It was so weird. It was basically he tricks him into giving him like a box for like a lot cheaper or something. Like he exchanges two cigars for a whole box of cigars. It's so weird. I don't know what the hell this dream even was. It was so rad. I don't know why I dreamt this, but yeah. So it was literally just two men standing there, and the woman is there. So it's me, that woman, and these two guys, and they're just exchanging cigars for whatever reason. And one of them says something so funny, and I start laughing in the dream. Like I'm laughing really hard because of this joke that this guy did. And the girl is like looking at me and like she kind of chuckles, and this lady is chuckling and laughing, and I'm laughing, and I'm laughing too much. And she's like, "Geez, you really thought that was funny, eh?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man, I don't know why." I'm just laughing. Like that's the last thing I can remember in my dreams is like I'm really laughing hard at this cigar exchange between these two guys, and that's it. That's all I remember from my dreams.